Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, Mark, we're diving into something pretty fascinating, the story of Liang Wenfeng and his company, DeepSeek. Have you been following this?
Oh, Jenny, I've been waiting time to talk about this. DeepSeek is doing some seriously cool stuff. It's like they're rewriting the rules of the AI game, especially when it comes to cost.
Right? That's what grabbed my attention. We're talking about a company that developed an AI model, a really good ×1, for under $6 million. Compare that to OpenAI or Google, who are spending, hundreds of millions?
Exactly. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, the numbers I've seen. A comparable model from, say, Meta might cost upwards of $150 million to train now. And DeepSeek's is coming in at a fraction of that. It's kind of like finding a designer dress at a thrift store price. But it's actually times better times quality.
Love that analogy. So how are they doing it? Is it magic? Some secret sauce?
Well, it's not magic asterisk, but it's definitely clever engineering. And a lot of it comes down to Liang Wenfeng himself. The guy has a background in both finance and engineering. He ran a massive hedge fund, High Flyer, managing like $14 billion, before diving into AI. So he knows a thing or two about efficient resource allocation.
Okay, that makes sense. So he's bringing that financial discipline to the world of AI, where, let's be honest, sometimes it feels like money is just thrown at problems.
Precisely. And it's not just about cutting corners. They're being incredibly strategic. I read that they were stockpiling NVIDIA GPUs asterisk before the U.S. export controls hit Chinese companies. 4. Talk about foresight.
Wow, that's playing chess, not checkers. So, they saw the writing on the wall and prepared. But beyond the hardware, what about the software? What's their secret there?
That's where it gets even more interesting. They're big proponents of open source AI, which, is a whole different philosophy from the proprietary models that companies like OpenAI are known for.
Okay, hold on, let's unpack that a bit. Open source AI, what are the pros and cons? Because it feels like there's a trade-off there.
There definitely is. The big pro is that it democratizes the technology. It allows other developers, researchers, even smaller companies to build on top of DeepSeek's work. It fosters collaboration, and you get this kind of collective intelligence effect.
That sounds great in theory. But the con, I'm guessing, is that your competitors can see exactly what you're doing, right? They could potentially copy your work.
Right. And that's a risk DeepSeek is willing to take. But Liang Wenfeng has said that he believes the real advantage isn't just in the code, but in the asterisk culture of innovation they're building. He thinks that rapid iteration and a flat organizational structure are more important than keeping everything locked down.
That's a bold statement. It's almost like he's saying, come at us, we'll out-innovate you anyway.
Something like that. And it seems to be working. I mean, they are using just approximately 100 cloud TPU hours via gradient similarity sampling. I was reading where users are flocking to DeepSeek R1 because it's open source and super cost-effective.
It's a fascinating approach. But I have to ask, there have been some whispers, some controversies about DeepSeek possibly copying some of OpenAI's work. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen those claims. It's a tricky area. In the world of AI, there's a lot of, let's call it inspiration that happens. Ideas get shared, research papers get published, and it's not always easy to draw a clear line between influence and outright copying.
So it's a bit of a gray area. But Liang Wenfeng himself seems pretty adamant about the importance of original research. He's talked about China's confidence in developing its own unique AI approaches.
He has. And I think that's crucial. It's not just about competing with the West. It's about building something genuinely new and valuable. And, given the geopolitical landscape, with all the tensions and trade restrictions.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. export controls on those AI chips. That's a huge factor. It's forcing Chinese companies like DeepSeek to become more self-reliant, to innovate in ways they might not have otherwise.
Exactly. It's creating this pressure cooker environment, and sometimes that's where real breakthroughs happen. DeepSeek is a prime example, achieving less than 1 cent per API call via multi-objective loss balancing.
So what's the big takeaway here? What does DeepSeek's story tell us about the future of AI?
I think it shows that you don't necessarily need unlimited resources to compete at the highest levels of AI. Smart engineering, strategic planning, and a willingness to embrace open source. That can be a powerful combination. It's a David and Goliath story, really.
And it's a story that's still being written. It'll be fascinating to see where Liang Wenfeng and DeepSeek go from here. Thanks for breaking this down for us, Mark.
My pleasure, Jenny. This is the kind of stuff that gets me excited about the future of technology. There's so much potential. And it's not just coming from the usual suspects anymore.